In this video clip we're going to do a feather fibre caddis, parachute caddis pattern, or guinea fowl caddis actually, but you can use any feather to copy any colour, pheasant tail or any arbitrary solid feather fibre you've got available actually. And the first thing, as with all these parachute flies, is to tie in the post. And we're going to just tie in a yellow post this time, just for a change. So take the poly yarn that you're going to use for the post, wrap it around the hook, take one loop of thread, position the wing where you want it, the post where you want it, and bind it down in place. Then we're going to make those wraps up the post. Oops, wasn't holding on to it that time. Back down. There's our post in position. Because this is a dark caddis pattern, we're going to tie in a black cock hackle. One turn just to catch it in place. Wrap up that post and back down again. Catch in, change the rotation of the thread to around the hook and catch in the tail, tag end of that hackle. Obviously the caddis fly doesn't have any tails, and also they've got quite short bodies, so we're going to dress this short. We're not going to take the thread all the way to the end of the hook. We're going to take it 2/3 of the way, 3/4 of the way down the hook, and then we're going to build a body of superfine dubbing. Dub a small amount of superfine dubbing onto the tying thread. These caddis flies aren't generally very bulky, so you don't want them too thick and fluffy. Just a neat, slim body up to the parachute post. And then we're going to take some prepared feather fibre for the wing. So what I've done here is taken a feather, treated it with Sally Hansen's Hard as Nails nail polish or head cement to make it stiffer, and I've cut a section out of that feather now that I'm going to use as the wing. And here's our guinea fowl feather fibre. I'm going to trim the ends, square it off. The actual length doesn't matter because we can adjust that later. And then we're going to fold it in half like that, and we're going to cut it at an angle. This angle is quite important. This isn't the angle that creates the tail, the back of the wing. This is an angle that helps you tie the material into the hook. So now we have a nice V-shaped cut in that wing, which allows me to push it up equally on either side of the parachute post and trap it in. Makes the fly more durable, and at the same time makes it much easier to get the wing in the right place in the middle. Just trim out those extra fibres that are hanging over there, and then we're going to build a thorax of more superfine dubbing. We're going to spin some superfine dubbing onto the thread, not too much, it's not a bulky fly this. A few wraps behind the post, form a head in front of the post, and take the thread around the post once in preparation for wrapping the hackle. And tip the fly at an angle in preparation for wrapping the hackle. Pick up the hackle with the hackle pliers and make touching turns down the post and one wrap around the post under the hackle to trap it in place. Then our standard super glue whip finish again. Moisten the thread. Two wraps around the base of the hackle, round the post, pull firmly for a couple of seconds and cuff the thread. All that's left now is to trim it off. We're going to trim the wing at an angle. Classic tent shaped wing of a caddis fly. I'm going to trim the post short because remember it's just a sighter, it's not there to imitate me on the fly. I like to spread out a little bit like that, make it a bit more visible to me on the water. And there's our parachute caddis. This parachute caddis then could be tied in any colour combination again. We've used the yellow wing post to make it a bit more visible on this pattern. You can use brown, grey, whatever colour feather fibre, doesn't really matter. I'm using guinea fowl because it's easily available to me, and a lot of the caddises on our rivers are dark coloured. But again, a generic pattern. That little trick of cutting a V in the wing makes it much easier to tie. Almost every trout stream has a hatch of caddis flies, and it's well worth being able to copy them.